I have just finished watching Union Bordeaux-Bègles against the Sharks in the final round of the pool stages of the Champions Cup, and it was an eventful game to say the least. There is lots to talk about on both sides in lots of different directions, both performance related, competition related, and some broader issues about what's going right and what's going wrong in various places. I'm trying not to give away the score at this minute, so let me just say, leave your comments down below, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and here is the spoiler alert. The score is there, 62 points to 12. See, I mean, a Bordeaux win is not surprising. Bordeaux winning by a few tries isn't a total surprise, but the capitulation by Sharks, and maybe there are some mitigating factors there which I'll get into, I didn't see coming. In fact, my prediction for the game was that Bordeaux would win, get the full 5 points, but maybe they'd take their foot off the gas because all they had to do was get the 4 tries and get the win. But in fact, they hit the accelerator again in the second half of the game, and the Sharks were abject, which rounds off a pretty pitiful competition for them. They earned the right to be in this competition at the top table of club rugby by winning the Challenge Cup and putting together some brilliant performances last year. But that win against Exeter Chiefs aside, and being quite competitive against Toulouse last week in moments, and the first 10 minutes of the game here, which I'll get into in a minute, I think the word is abject. And it's so disappointing when you look at the tables. South African teams, which are stacked with great players, they're all out. They're all completely out of this competition. There is no South African representation out of the 16 teams. And Ulster, I mean, if you're an Ulster fan, I bet you might well be watching this game going, no, come on, Sharks, get another couple of tries. Take it easy, Bordeaux. Because now Ulster have earned the right, by winning one game, to go and play Bordeaux. I mean, the fact that Ulster have qualified for the knockout stages just shows that this format is completely flawed. Ulster win one game against Exeter Chiefs, who have been the worst team in the competition, and they get through to the knockouts. There are way too many queues next to way too many teams. But that's a bigger conversation, maybe for another time. Right, let me get into this game then. This game is going to be remembered for one person, Damian Penaud. Just an absolutely insanely good rugby player. He just makes things happen. He scored 6 tries. He got an assist as well. In fact, did he get 2 assists? I mean, just an unreal talent. I mean, there's nothing more you can say really about Damian Penaud. He is incredible. He has scored 9 tries in his last 2 games. He scored 10 tries in the pool stages of this competition. He's just utterly world class. And he had a little bit of a niggle which he carried through that game, and yet still managed to show he's got gas. So I don't think there's any question about his fitness for the Six Nations. The warning shots are there for every other team in the Six Nations, though. Damian Penaud, who has not played for France in 2024, he is back and looking great. And well done to whoever came up with that meme. Well played. That got sent to me on a WhatsApp group. So wherever it came from, thank you for that. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But as to the actual match, right, let me try and pick the bones out of this one then. Like I say, your thoughts in the comments down below. So coming into this game, the Sharks knew that to progress in this tournament, and that's clearly what they wanted to do. Look at the team that they selected. They had all of their stars that were available to play. No Ebenezer still, and Oxenchase played a lot of rugby, so he started on the bench, but Sir Khaleesi started. You had Lacanio Am there. You had Grant Williams starting. So there's a lot of quality in that Sharks team. And they knew that their mission was they could qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions Cup, either by winning the match, either by getting a losing bonus point, or by getting a try bonus point, or by losing by 28 points or less. Any of those outcomes, and they get into the round of 16, and they couldn't manage a single one of them. These, I mean, firstly, and I want to give Sharks credit for this, again, and I said this on the video yesterday after the Glasgow Quins game and reflecting on some of the weekend that we've seen, how much better is this competition when teams go full bore, when teams put out best team against best team and let's go at it. And it's been so much better as a result. Also, how good is this stadium? The Stade Chamon Delmas. Have I got that right? I think I got that right. Looks amazing. The winter sunshine, southwest France, 28,000 fans packed in. I've got a mate that was there, and he's having just a whale of a time watching it. I'm very jealous. It looks so good. The noise that crowd can make as well. That's one on the bucket list. And I've been to a bunch of French stadiums. I've been to Clermont, and that's insane. I've been to Toulon, and that's amazing. I've been to La Rochelle. That's incredible. I want to go to Bordeaux. Yeah. And Bordeaux, just the way they play means that they can pull off stripes on a rugby shirt. Shouldn't work. Rugby is hoops. Football is stripes. Bordeaux, I will let you off, because when you play rugby like that, you can do what you want. Yeah, but the way the game started, you had a try from Masuku early on. Good attack by Lorenzo Julius, who had some really good moments. Kaneni scored a try, so they were 12-0 up. Look at the final score, 66 points to 12. The scoreboard at one point read 0-12. But this is not a surprise for Bordeaux. Listen to Bordeaux's second halves in recent games. Against Leicester in round one of this competition, they were 21 points to 14 down against Leicester Tigers at home at half-time, and they won 42-28. Against Ulster away, they were 19-14 down at half-time and won 19-40 at full-time. And now today against Sharks, they were 19-12 up at half-time, but 66-12 at full-time. This is a second-half team. And so I was going to question, and I may still come back to that, loop back on the Sharks' conditioning, but it's clearly something that Bordeaux do a lot. They did it against Vannes in the top 14 as well. They were 29 points to 7 down at half-time, but won 29 points to 37. So they're a second-half team, and anyone else in this competition has got to watch out. I don't know how and why it is that Bordeaux managed to play like that. Are they just really, really conditioned incredibly well? Do they deliberately keep it tight and then open? I don't know what it is, but when they drop the hammer, they are amazing to watch. And they were 12-0 down. Penaud gets the first of his, again, count them, 6 tries. Just ridiculous. Then he scores another, then he scores another. But they were very different tries, a lot of them. There was a bit of brute force and power. I think there was in the one just before half-time when he actually broke through. It was from a scrum, and or is it? Yeah, I think it was from a scrum, and he takes the short line off Jalabert and busts through the two. I think it might have been Masuku and Julius, or Am and Julius. I can't remember. Anyway, he broke through 2 people that are more than capable of stopping him, and he just threw them. He ran through them to score the try. But we saw he can just gas it. I mean, the last try he scored was a bit embarrassing for Sharks, where Jalabert just taps and goes quickly from a penalty. Sharks are asleep, not watching. Pass to Penaud, try. I mean, that's a bit of an embarrassment. And Penaud didn't really have to work for that one. He just had to run fast, which we know he can do. But there was that one try. Was it the second one? It was just insane. Sharks were on the attack. Bordeaux were on the attack. Spilled it. I think Julius makes a break, or Am makes a break, and then they kick it down the other end, and then it's end to end, and it ends with Penaud. It's like they're playing Uno reverse cards to each other. And oh yeah, that's right. And Penaud came off his right wing. That's what I like about him. So he's a great finisher, really fast, strong, slippery customer. But he came all the way off his right wing and scored the try on the left wing. So he's got work rate as well. And that's right, he pickpocketed. The pass was being made off the deck by the Sharks to Sia Khaleesi, and Penaud just in. And Khaleesi looked like he was in treacle or something, just like before Khaleesi even noticed what was going on. Penaud was already gone. And you could say that's a bit lucky that the ball just happened to land up. But watch Penaud every week. I watch the top 14 a lot. He does this all the time, and it's not lucky if you do it consistently. So I was noticing after about 20 minutes when Bordeaux had got back into it, Sharks players were suddenly standing with their hands on their hips, hands on the back of their head, blowing heavy. The commentator did make the mistake at one point of saying that the Sharks play at altitude regularly, or play at altitude, he said. But, I went to KwaZulu-Natal, and Durban, just to clarify to anyone that might have been confused by that bit of commentary, definitely at sea level. you can see the ocean almost from the ground. Well, it's only a couple of minutes, so yeah, definitely that is not a factor. But the conditioning of Sharks does look a factor, and the coaching of Sharks. John Plumtree is going to get a load of stick. Jake White is getting a load of stick for Bulls. The quality of team that they've got, but the performances that they've put together in this competition. What is going on? Now, on the one hand, I'm very sympathetic because the South African teams have got 2 long away trips in there, and many teams don't have any, and they just have to go maybe from England to Ireland or Scotland to Italy or whatever the case may be. Whereas a trip to South Africa is massive. But there are teams that have had at least one trip to South Africa and have all qualified and have done perfectly well. So there's something else going on. And I know that there's an element where a lot of teams only pick their strongest team for home games and just kind of say, we'll focus on the home matches. But even the teams that have only done that have also qualified. And these South African teams, this is why you might sense a little bit of frustration in my voice. I love the fact that they're in the competition and that we've got this different melting pot of nations and styles and superstar players. None of the Springbok World Cup winning superstar players that play for one of the franchises are going to be present in the knockout stages of the top competition. And that is more the pity. And I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on why. Is it the coaching? Is it the fact that, I don't know, do the Bok players only bring their best when they're playing for the Boks? But then again, you watch some of the inter-country rivalries in the URC, the matches between, like the ones before Christmas, between Sharks and Stormers or Bulls and Stormers or whatever the case may be, they're brilliant to watch and they're full-blooded. So I can't quite put my finger on it. But again, to return to the positives, you just have to say Bordeaux are awesome. The angles that they run, the skill level of their players is immense. Like Maxime Lamotte, the replacement hooker, he's in the France Six Nations squad. He's so talented. If it wasn't for the fact, ahead of him, Marchand and Malvaca playing for Toulouse. But Lamotte is awesome. And that try that he put Moefana in for, off the back of a maul, step, he tied in 2 Sharks players with a step, bit of footwork, and then almost a no-look lift to Moefana. That's a replacement hooker doing it. They are exceptional when they get going. Boniface coming off the bench, scoring a powerful try. I just thought they've been awesome to watch. Sharks, I mean, I talked about the fitness. Injuries didn't help as well. At one point, they had 3 flankers on the pitch. Sia Khaleesi packing down in the second row. 3 scrum halves on the field. 1 at 9, 1 at 10, 1 on the wing. They were. It was. I can see how it fell apart in the second half, but that first 20 minutes made me think we were on for a proper game. As for Bordeaux, they've managed to do that with no Louis Bielbiere. Le Bip Bip wasn't there, and the other member of their back 3, Roman Burros, was not there as well. So Bordeaux are going to get better. They are proper contenders, and they've got themselves the top seed in the competition, meaning they have got home advantage through the round of 16 if they make it through the quarterfinals, and if they make it through the semi-finals, where they could be on collision course with Toulouse. I'm going to watch their game with Leicester and then be back on the channel with more reaction to the Champions Cup. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know just these are my immediate splurge of thoughts following full time. There were so many tries, 10 of them from Bordeaux, 2 from the Sharks, that I kind of haven't put much meat on the bones in terms of the content of the match. But I guess when we're talking about seedings, we're talking about bigger picture stuff, the competition format and all the rest of it. Maybe that's as it should be. Fun game to watch. Would have been more fun if the Sharks could have continued their first 20-minute performance for the subsequent 60. We will see. Right. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go watch Leicester v Toulouse and be back very soon. I'll see you on the next one.